Thank you all. Now show you some video of Tylertown, the tornado that was captured there and some of the damage in Kentwood. Obviously, we have some crews out and we'll be touching base with them in just a little bit. If you're just joining us now, we've been tracking these storms, but the video on your screen is of Tylertown, Mississippi, where you see a tornado was captured on camera there, video sent to us, and then some of the damage in Kentwood. I know you've been tracking, Alexandra, storms and warnings. What are you seeing right now?
All right, Winnie, we have still our severe thunderstorm warning for spots south of Lake Pontchartrain, just to the west of New Orleans. There is a big part of this system that has been really heavy, lots of lightning, and that's now moving out over the causeway. So the severe thunderstorm warning goes up until Kenner and Metairie, and we are expecting still some heavy rain there, but clearly the really big part of this system, or this particular cell or line of storms, has been moving out over the causeway. Really heavy rain. I've been sampling some parts of this cell, and there are some indications there could be 10 inches per hour kind of rainfall rates. In fact, radar wanted to suggest 17 inches per hour with one small pocket of that storm. Lots of lightning as well. I've been sampling it near about 300 strikes or so just in the past 10 or so minutes. And we are continuing to watch this one if we progress to the northeast with its current rate of movement. We're placing this getting pretty heavy around places like Lacombe and maybe even towards Slidell. You can see the timeline here. Lacombe maybe in about 10 or 15 minutes, and then potentially on toward at least parts, maybe even western parts of Slidell, or getting toward the Slidell area by about 5:20 or so. So a lot of rain, heavy rain, a lot of lightning, gusty wind potential. And also we've had hail potential as well. Tracking that with our hail, actually there's a little bit more of a pretty big established hail core, it looks like, with this system. Almost a 1/4 inch hail showing up right now with our radar scans. Earlier we did get at least one report of hail at Kenner of 1 inch diameter potentially, so we'll see if we get more reports coming out about that. As I've been saying, we are still looking for this system to continue to the east, so tracking it over the next several hours. It's not a perfect timeline, but just to get you something so you can make some plans. This is by about 6 potentially. I think we'll still have rain a lot closer to New Orleans, still lagging behind this current location. And then this is 8 p.m. and then by 9 and 10 we should be finished with this system. Looking quickly also at what else we have as far as our watches and warnings go. We have that one severe thunderstorm warning just out to the west of New Orleans, and now, as I was saying, really the more active part of that cell is right over the causeway. And then we still have a tornado watch until 6 p.m. for our north of the lake locations into southern Mississippi, our coastal Mississippi spots included in that. And I wouldn't be surprised if at least some part of this area gets extended past 6 p.m. and the time extended out maybe to 7 or 8 for our Mississippi spots potentially. Hasn't happened yet, but it just looks likely, looking at the current speed, that we may see some changes there. Then eventually our tornado watch will be gone. The rain will continue to the east and northeast of us. Checking quickly on our warnings that are ongoing. Huge area of flash flood warning across Mississippi. Tornado warnings here, tornado warnings into northern Alabama, and in fact, these have been some really significant warnings with confirmed tornadoes there. Dangerous situations with these warned areas into northern Mississippi now. Checking quickly on what else we can expect past that. Here is our live camera really quickly for our New Orleans spots. What we're seeing right now as it loads, we've got the gray skies, the rain just now moving into New Orleans. Our temperatures have made it into the upper 70s, a very warm, kind of sticky, humid day. Look at these wind gusts also. 58 mile per hour gusts at the lakefront, 46 mile per hour gusts at Kenner, and this is just the windy setup that we have ahead of the storms. Tonight we're looking for the rain, of course, to end. I think by 9 and 10 it'll be done. Our lows tonight north and south are expected in the 50s. Peek ahead at tomorrow, totally different scene. Lots of sun, very breezy, or rather breezy, northwest winds up to about 18 miles per hour. And then our 7-day forecast shows a gorgeous, kind of chilly morning for St. Patrick's Day with highs around 70 degrees. So that's our current look. Let me get you one more look at radar in case you're just joining us on WWL Plus and trying to figure out what's happening with our weather. We're getting you this update at 5:05 p.m. and the rain is just getting to spots like over Kenner, approaching or just now arriving at Metairie, and will soon, I would say by about 5:30, you can already see the rain picking up a bit over New Orleans. Lots of heavy rain over the Lake Pontchartrain areas as well.
And Alexandra, is this storm moving as fast as we expected, or is it moving slower than expected?
Yeah, it's kind of slowed down on the southern end. So a lot of models had it already over New Orleans by 5. So it's just a little bit slow. I think it's been lagging behind in the past maybe hour or so. Nice to see, though, some of our North Shore spots, Covington and Madisonville, just a little while ago, half hour ago or so, had a tornado warning active. Now the rain is almost completely left. So you might have a bit of this shower action that's showing up behind that main line. That's around Hammond and parts of Tangipahoa Parish. But really the severe threat is going to be pretty quickly coming to an end after you get that line of storms progressing to the east of your area.
And earlier this afternoon, there was a tornado, or it appeared to be a tornado north of us there in the Kentwood area.
Yes, we have some tornado reports from around there, and actually we've had reporters out and people updating lots of pictures on social media. Let me show you where those reports are. This is from the National Weather Service. There were these showing up, one around Kentwood and a few more around Tylertown and Salem, Mississippi. So it looks like this one is probably going to be a tornado. In fact, the report indicates likely tornado already from the National Weather Service without going out and surveying just yet, which would probably happen tomorrow, surveying the scene to determine exactly, how strong and track and so forth. And also, yes, around Kentwood, also a tornado report from earlier today.
All right. Thank you so much. I want to show some video, the video of the Kentwood area, that tornado damage that we have. You can see there's some drone video that was sent in to us, I believe, and this is where we believe possibly a tornado touchdown, just what you were just speaking about. But this viewer video sent in to us. Our Eleanor went out there early, was out there, or is out there now actually, working to gather information and check on these reports of damage. But this is some of the video that we've gathered. And then I think we might have some video of some Kentwood area damage from the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office. It looks like, some video of the Kentwood area damage from Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office. We have that there. Just take a look at this video that they sent. All right, and you can see on your screen there, obviously some heavy winds there. Alexandra, I don't know if you're seeing that. The winds damaging, obviously, the trees there. I don't think we have any reports of anyone being injured per se, but definitely some high winds there. And it'll take time for them to determine whether or not this was an actual tornado.
Survey crews tomorrow. They're also looking, by the way, at these same pictures. They're analyzing what they can just from the social media content and videos and pictures and so forth. So a damaged home we're seeing, is that correct?
Yes,
yeah, wow. I mean, this is really something. So yeah, they're already looking, and then tomorrow once the severe threat is over, tomorrow they'll get a crew out there, and then they'll look at really specific things. What kind of structure is it? How old is it? They look at a lot of different things to determine what the rating of the tornado was.
Oh, I see. I think we're able to get out to Eleanor right now. She is in Kentwood surveying some of the damage there. Eleanor, what are you seeing?
Whitney, I'm just going to step out the way so you can see. Look at the damage that this possible tornado that touched down ripped through here. These are the trees that are left standing. I'm in Kentwood, Tangipahoa Parish. These are the trees that have been snapped in half as that storm barreled its way through, where they're actually miraculously in that short period of time, they've already been able to clear the roadway. We're seeing cars able to travel down, but you can see them now breaking up the stumps that remain. Troy's going to pan to our right, where you can see houses. It looks like their garage where they park their cars in. completely destroyed. It looks like the roof of that garage is now sitting beside the cars that it was once protecting. We can see it appears a homeowner. We know that they are the people in the purple shirts that you're seeing on screen there. There's some roofers that have been out here helping tarp people's homes. But look at these trees in this person's front yard, as Troy's going to show you. They're no more. They're no more. These trees are completely snapped. These roads were all closed for a long period of time, Whitney, when we got out here. But in the tree, as we've been parts of houses wrapped and intertwined into trees in people's homes. Whitney, old oak tree was completely uprooted from his home and had barreled itself onto his garage, which had then crushed his truck that is also protecting. And Troy, if you pan over to your left, I don't know if we can show them, that oak tree right there, you guys can see that oak tree. Look, you can see how big it is. Also completely uprooted from the ground after this storm ripped through. We've spoken to many residents out here. All of them have told us, one man we spoke to had been here in Kentwood since 1986, and he said he has never seen a tornado like this in his We've got residents now coming out. Many of them took shelters in local convenience stores, and they are all now coming home to see what their damage is, what they've got left, what they need to protect. That house over there, they've tarped it. I'm unsure if that's from a previous storm, but there's a tarp on that roof there. But like you can see, the damage, all I can say is the damage, the carnage of this storm that came through. Now it's just going to be cleanup, and many residents out here are what they do. Where do you start when you have a storm like this and damage that comes so quickly? That's what many of the people told us, was like they didn't have time. They didn't know what was happening. They just listened and they got down as quick as they could before anything could be flying around. And that was a big concern local leaders had before this, was possible projectiles. And like I mentioned early, things were wrapped up in trees. We spoke to one man who lived across the other side, and all his shed had blown in and strewn across his neighbor's yard. But like we're seeing, like Troy's showing you now, it's just clean up for the next few days as residents really take in the damage. But I'm out here in Kentwood, like I said, in Tangipahoa Parish, and I'll continue to bring updates as we get them live. Reporting in Kentwood, Eleanor Tabone, WWL, Louisiana.
All right, Eleanor, thank you so much. I want to turn now to Tylertown, where our Rachel Hanley is. We're getting reports there of possible casualties in that storm there. Rachel?
Yeah, and sadly, we were actually able to confirm 3 fatalities just now. I talked with the chief of Tylertown's police department, Jordan Hill. He says 2 adults and 1 juvenile were killed in what seems to have been more than one possible tornado here. We're still not saying tornado because nothing has been officially confirmed yet, but it's seeming pretty likely at this point based on the damage. We are seeing some serious damage, and the police chief even called it, quote, significant damage here. We asked him about those fatalities, and he says the 3 people who were killed were on Bethlehem Loop Road, and that's just northeast of Tylertown. He also said that there have been multiple injuries from this storm here. We're just west of Tylertown right now on Highway 48, and we came here because we heard that there was some significant damage at an RV park called Paradise Ranch RV Resort that's off of Highway 48. We couldn't get up to it because there are a lot of trees and power lines down on the road right now. They're working on clearing them, but there is clearly a lot to be done here. Some trees are completely uprooted, others are snapped in half. Again, we can't confirm any tornadoes here, but I can say that whatever came through here had some serious wind because we are seeing so much debris on the ground. And I also mentioned power lines. It's something else to know if you live in this area. We are seeing a lot of outages. I just checked the map for Magnolia Electric Company. That's the energy company that manages this area. looks like about a third of the county is without power right now. That's about 2,500 people. So far, a few hundred have had their power restored, but based on what we're seeing right here, it looks like it is going to be a long recovery period for here. It does look like cars are maybe being allowed to approach a little bit closer than we were a second ago as we came down Highway 48. This was not the only area of damage that we saw. We passed a few other sections of road where you'd be driving and everything looked fine, and then all of a sudden trees snapped across the road, debris, as we're seeing now, some trees uprooted. So it looks like whatever happened here, or whatever strong winds happened here, it may have crossed Highway 48 multiple times. And again, we are west of Tylertown right now. So we're hoping we may be able to get to that RV park. The police chief said no injuries or fatalities reported there, but he says some people are trapped there right now. So hopefully out here we should be able to get access to that area more and be able to tell you more about just what the damage at that RV park looks like. But again, sadly, we do have 3 confirmed fatalities up here in the Tylertown area. Whitney.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much. That's very sad news about those fatalities there. Obviously, you'll be out surveying and we'll learn more as the day goes on. Thank you, Rachel. Right now, I want to show you some video of some downed trees along the street this came in from the Tangipahoa Sheriff's Office. Downed trees, I believe this is in the Kentwood area. But obviously some heavy storms coming through that area. Yes, from the Kentwood area there, some heavy storms coming through that area, knocking down those trees, snapping some of them in half there, you see. And then now there's a uprooted tree, a picture of a large downed tree also from the Sheriff's Office, just pulling it from the root out of the ground there. And you can see just how powerful these winds must have been to get that tree out of there. Alexandra, when you see pictures like this, what does that tell you, I guess, when, with your meteorological, knowledge?
Yeah, I mean, it looks very significant for sure. I mean, you don't see that every day. Now, there are some high wind gusts that, could potentially have done something similar, just depending on the soil, moisture and things like that. But yeah, I mean, that's really something to see. Yeah,
and like you said, they'll survey, they'll come out and survey, and we'll get confirmation later on whether or not this was a tornado. There's also a picture of a home with some roof damage from Tangipahoa Sheriff's Office. A lot of photos coming out of Kentwood there. So obviously, they are surveying some reports of damage and sending us these photos. And then there's a traffic cam we want to show you of some heavy rain in the Kenner I-10 at Loyola Drive there. See, the rain is coming down. Drivers getting through that. And yeah, just obviously if you can stay off the roads during rain like this, I would suggest you do that. But I know some people feel they have to get places. But I want to send it now to Alexandra to check in with the weather. And what are you seeing?
All right, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This one is for, you can see the yellow box here along the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain. So this is from around the Lacombe area, including parts of Slidell, and really including also around Mandeville, and then off to the northeast. Tallahassee, Picayune, places like this around Slidell, north of Slidell along Highway 11 here toward Picayune and other spots, including sun. This is a big cell, lots of very heavy rain, ton of lightning as well, but also the potential for some high wind gusts and also some hail. So all of these things, especially right around Lacombe, around this part. Of course, if you're joining us from Lacombe, the rain is coming down extremely heavy right now. Here it is right over Lacombe, edging toward other places around Slidell, but actually some of the heaviest you can see might potentially stay just a little bit west of Slidell. We do have this whole part of the cell, though, that's also going to be lifting to the northeast. So Slidell is going to be getting some heavy rain, especially the western edge, but really more so at the moment, it's Lacombe. This is a cell that's been moving pretty fast, around 50 or so miles per hour to the northeast. The warned area, you can see in the yellow box again, that warning goes until 6 p.m. So we're waiting for quite a while for this cell to move off to the northeast with its potential for high wind gusts. Of course, the huge amount of lightning. Let me sample that really quickly for you. Lots and lots of lightning is going to be moving in, about 500 strikes over the past few minutes with just that one part of the line. Extending farther south, I want to show you what's going on because we're seeing it arrive just now, almost into New Orleans. In fact, it is reaching parts of the city. Right over Metairie now, there is some very heavy rain, and other locations along the West Bank are about to see this line roll in, although actually the heaviest core of this, or heaviest spot in this thunderstorm, is right over Metairie and the southern edge of the causeway at this point. That's some really heavy rain. I've been looking and using our radar tools to see just how heavy, and this, for example, that one part that I sampled shows 8 inches per hour. So a really heavy rain. Like Whitney was saying, sometimes you have to get out, but oh my goodness, this is really heavy. If you can wait a little bit, that would be really good. The line has slowed down a little bit, but it is now moving into some of our spots in New Orleans as well, especially closer to the lake. We've seen showers starting to spread over, and we did have just a little while ago some lighter rain. But now we're leading up to the actual line itself, which has gotten, it looks like, thinner and thinner as that really big cell moved out over the lake, the one that's now moving into St. Tammany. We're seeing the line, what's left of it on the southern edge, moving into, well, right over Metairie and into New Orleans soon. That's gotten a little bit smaller overall. Looks like we do have, by the way, a new flood advisory until 8:30 this evening, and this is going to include spots like parts of Jefferson Parish, Orleans, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, and St. Charles. Let me pull up our warnings here so you can see where that is included. Let's see. We had the graphic that was showing that. Let's see, not with our rotation, but I'll get it pulled up for you in a second. But basically just where you see that really heavy rain is where that advisory is. And this is those low-lying spots that you can think of. You know about them around your neighborhood or on your routes that tend to fill up with water. This is some heavy rain, and it's a little unusual actually to get one of these heavy rain flooding advisories for New Orleans this time of year. It can happen, of course, with big spring storm systems like this, but the more common time for that is during the summer, where our moisture is just through the roof in the atmosphere. It's very high. All these little thunderstorms that pop up in the summer are able to tap into that and just drench a specific location. But with a sort of fast moving line like this, you don't really see that potential as much, except that it has slowed down a bit, and there is some really heavy rain here. So some of those flood prone areas that you know about, great idea to avoid those through the next maybe 2 or 3 hours, because even after the rain ends, there could still be some water standing in certain locations. That is our South Shore spot, and we've been saying it's kind of interesting. Right around 5 p.m. we're expecting it for New Orleans, and it is showing up, but you might be in another part of the city, and the northern and western part is starting to see the rain, but you might still be waiting on it actually in much of Uptown, in the French Quarter, over toward Marigny and into St. Bernard, and actually a huge part of the West Bank. Still waiting for this line. So it's kind of gotten hung up a little bit, but at least it doesn't look like too much once it does move in and out that we will have to deal with. But this is the line of significant weather that we're seeing move in as we speak. Of course, the other spot, again, that I just wanted to highlight that I was pointing out earlier is this location around Lacombe, this part of St. Tammany Parish. Now including Slidell, the heaviest is just to the west of Slidell, but even other parts in the city will probably get in on this heavy part on the southern edge of what has prompted the warning, and that will be moving in probably within the next 10 or so minutes. So some really, really heavy rain and also some high wind gust potential, and that will be moving again towards Slidell and then eventually toward other spots like Picayune as we get into the next maybe half hour or so. So line is moving in, it will be moving out. We're still expecting it to be finished by about 7, 8 o'clock. This should be mostly out of here, but certainly a really active scene at this point. No tornado warnings, but just that one severe thunderstorm warning, as well as a flood advisory for the New Orleans metro area itself.
All right, Alexandra, thank you so much. We want to check back in real quick with Eleanor Tabone. She's in Kentwood in Tangipahoa Parish, and I want to see what she's seeing there now. Eleanor, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me? Whitney, I want to show you, this is where we started. When we first got out here to Kentwood earlier this afternoon, the rain was pouring down, and this is the scene that we came to. Now we spoke to the resident who lives here. He's been here, this is the resident I mentioned earlier that has been here since 1986. He has lived here all that time, and he said he's never experienced anything like we saw today. His house is completely destroyed. This is where you can see Troy will show you, that's where his truck was in there, in his shed. That shed, the siding is completely ripped off. The roof is completely ripped off and blown. You can see the tin that is now intertwined with the trees that are now on the ground. His house, Troy, if you can show them, he took us in his home earlier, and water was pouring in, completely pouring in. His house is completely slanted to one side. The back of the house was where his granddaughter lived with him. You would walk into a room, Whitney, and you could see the sky. The roof had blown off the back. There's a tree now laying on the back side of his house. Troy will show you this side. You can see all the trees that are completely snapped in half like we showed you earlier. But complete carnage from this storm. People are now out here. We can see some energy crews are out here looking at one power pole that's come down. But like I mentioned earlier, the residents that we have spoken to, they told us that they were just sitting there listening to their radios, listening to the news, and then all of a sudden they were hearing that they were in the line. They were in that path of that storm. And the man that we spoke to at this residence told us that all of a sudden he heard a noise, and so he looked outside, and the wind was so strong, Whitney, he said that he was blown from the front of his house to the back of his house. A grown man, that wind was so strong, it blew him. He said it blew him so hard that he ended up on his back and he couldn't move. He said the pressure in his home, it was just intense. He said his ears were hurting. So that's what he experienced out here in Kentwood. And so now the rain has thankfully subsided. It was torrential downpours for a long period of time out here. Now we've got some clear skies, the sun is out. But now people are out here, like I mentioned, the energy crews are out here looking and helping people. We're seeing roofing companies out here tarping people's homes. We're seeing people clearing the roadways. This roadway where Troy is showing you, this convenience store, was completely blocked off earlier when we came out here. Couldn't even pass it. They've thankfully been able to move the branches and limbs that were on the roadway. But I'll continue to have the details out here in Kentwood. My full story will be tonight at 10 o'clock. You'll see and hear from all the residents that we spoke to. One man we spoke to had just moved to Kentwood, Whitney, 5 days ago, and now this has happened. But I'll have that full story for you and our viewers tonight at 10 o'clock, live in Kentwood. Eleanor Tabone, WWL, Louisiana.
Eleanor, thank you so much. Just 5 days ago, wow. If you have any photos, text us your pictures of your storm damage. We want to see that. The number is 504-529-4444. And thank you just so much for watching. You know, we're going to keep you posted if there are any more warnings. Obviously, we'll tune in and let you know about those warnings. But make sure that you are weather aware, and make sure you have WWL Plus, the app, downloaded so you can get any alerts or pushes of any storm information that you need to know. Thanks so much for watching.